GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. Home sales slipped just under 1% in July while traffic is moving smoothly with only minor lane reductions. The fire chief also warned residents about a rise in lithium-ion battery fires, and the Argonauts are gearing up for tonight's game. Over to you, Nathan.
The Toronto Public Library's annual Storytime in the Park series returns this Saturday at Riverdale Park, featuring local authors, live music, and free children's workshops.
The event runs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., includes a puppet show at 11, and provides complimentary snack boxes for families.
Nearby, the Distillery District will host a free street art showcase on Sunday evening, with live mural painting, local food trucks, and guided tour starting at 6.
Lots to get to, let's begin, and enjoy these vibrant community happenings as we transition into today's news coverage together. Here are our top stories.
Toronto home sales slipped year-over-year in July, with 5,995 transactions, a 0.9% decline, yet rose 3.2% from June as prices fell. Dev Showri has the full story.
5,995 homes changed hands in the Greater Toronto Area this July, marking a 0.9% drop compared with July last year. On a seasonally adjusted basis, the market rose 3.2% from June, signaling a modest rebound after June's modest gain. The Toronto Regional Real Estate Board reports that the decline ties directly to falling prices across the region. Despite the year-over-year dip, the volume still exceeds the seasonal average for the month, and analysts note the market holds steady amid tighter borrowing conditions. Buyers and sellers alike are watching the trend as the spring-summer window narrows. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Toronto.
A Mississauga officer-involved shooting early Saturday left one man dead and resulted in 3 arrests, with Toronto, Peel, and provincial police on scene. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
At around 12:22 a.m. on August 6th, officers responding to an ongoing investigation opened fire at the intersection of Council Ring Road and the College Way near Winston Churchill Boulevard. The exchange left a male suspect dead on the pavement. Shortly after, 3 individuals were taken into custody by Peel Regional Police and Toronto Police Service, with the Ontario Police Watchdog also on scene to document the incident. Investigators are still piecing together what triggered the confrontation, but all units remained at the location for several hours, gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses. The scene was cordoned off, and forensic teams processed the area before the road was reopened to traffic. No further injuries were reported among the officers or bystanders. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Council Ring Road.
Toronto police will brief the public on the July 27, 2026 shooting near the U.S. consulate at 360 University Avenue, heard at approximately 4:46 a.m. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
At about 4:46 in the morning on July 27, officers responded to a report of a gunshot near the United States consulate at 360 University Avenue. Witnesses heard the discharge and called 911, prompting a rapid police presence on the corner of University and King. Detectives have been canvassing the area, securing footage and speaking with nearby businesses. The Toronto Police Service announced it will hold a briefing later today to share what investigators have learned about the early morning incident. No injuries have been reported so far, and the scene remains under police control as forensic teams continue their work. Police say they expect to release further details before the end of the day. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, University Avenue.
A man arrived at a Toronto hospital with gunshot wounds, prompting a police investigation. Authorities have not identified the shooting location and are seeking public assistance. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
paramedics rushed a man with multiple gunshot wounds through the doors of a downtown Toronto hospital early Wednesday. He was triaged in the emergency department, while officers from the Toronto Police Service secured the entrance and began a criminal investigation. Police have not yet disclosed where the shooting occurred, and no arrests have been made. Detectives are canvassing the area and reviewing surveillance footage, urging anyone who saw or heard anything to contact investigators. The victim remains in critical condition, and hospital staff have been directed to follow standard safety protocols. The case is still active as authorities seek further leads. The investigation remains open, and officers are asking the community for any tips that could help identify the shooter. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
Toronto police are searching for an unidentified male suspect linked to an assault and robbery of an elderly woman on Don Mills Road and Overlea Boulevard Bridge around 2:15 p.m. on July 30th. Dev Showri has the full story.
At about 2:15 in the afternoon on July 30th, a man confronted an elderly woman walking across the bridge at the intersection of Don Mills Road and Overlea Boulevard. Witnesses say the assailant struck the woman and fled with her belongings, leaving her shaken on the bridge. Officers arrived within minutes, secured the scene, and began canvassing the surrounding area for the suspect, who remains unidentified. Police are urging anyone who saw the incident or who may have captured footage to come forward, and they have launched a city-wide search to locate the individual. The investigation is ongoing, and detectives are reviewing surveillance video from nearby streets to piece together the suspect's movements. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Don Mills.
We'll explore the OPP search for the driver after a pedestrian was critically injured on a Brampton Highway off-ramp. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Police are searching for the driver who struck a pedestrian on the Highway 410 off-ramp in Brampton just before 12:30 a.m., leaving the victim in critical condition. Dev Showri has the full story.
Just before 12:30 a.m. on August 6th, officers from the Ontario Provincial Police Mississauga Detachment responded to a collision on the Highway 410 off-ramp in Brampton. The vehicle struck a pedestrian, leaving the victim in critical condition as Peel paramedics rushed to the scene. The driver fled before police could identify them, and detectives are now canvassing nearby streets and reviewing dash cam footage to locate the suspect. Investigators say the vehicle was traveling northbound when it entered the ramp, and they have opened a search for the driver. The investigation remains active as officers continue to piece together the events leading up to the crash. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Brampton.
A new study shows human-induced climate change has doubled the likelihood of wildfires in Canada's Northwest Territories and Ontario, raising alarm for communities and emergency services. Dev Showri has the full story.
A rapid analysis released Thursday shows human-induced climate change has roughly doubled the odds of wildfires in the Northwest Territories and Ontario. Researchers compared climate models with fire records, finding that the warming trend pushes the probability of large, fast-moving blazes to about 2 times what it would be in a climate untouched by human emissions. The study notes that higher temperatures and drier conditions extend the fire season and increase fuel dryness, making ignition more likely. It also points to a rising frequency of extreme heat events that push forests and tundra past critical thresholds. Scientists say the trend could reshape fire management strategies across the Canadian North and Central provinces. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Yellowknife.
Toronto police have filed thousands of shoplifting charges over the past 2 years, as national data show a 5-year streak of rising incidents, prompting intensified prosecutions across the city. Simona Conquo has the full story.
Over the past 2 years, Toronto police have filed thousands of shoplifting charges, a surge that mirrors a national trend of rising theft. Statistics Canada reports that shoplifting incidents have climbed for 5 consecutive years across the country, prompting the city's law enforcement to intensify prosecutions. Officers say the increase is spread across a variety of retail settings, from small independent stores to large chain outlets, and that the volume of cases has strained court resources. While the police continue to pursue every charge, officials note that the data underscores a broader pattern of petty theft that has been building steadily. The department remains focused on deterrence and community safety as the numbers keep climbing. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Toronto Fire Chief Jim Jessup alerts residents to a surge in lithium-ion battery fires after 2 incidents erupted within 24 hours earlier this week, prompting a citywide safety warning. Tobias Kwan has the full story.
2 lithium-ion battery fires erupted within a single day earlier this week, prompting Toronto Fire Services Chief Jim Jessup to issue a stark warning to residents. The first blaze broke out at a downtown apartment complex late Monday night, igniting a charging station and sending thick black smoke into the hallway. Less than 24 hours later, a second fire sparked in a suburban home on the west side, where a portable power pack overheated while charging a laptop. Both incidents required multiple engine companies and took several hours to fully extinguish. Jessup said the frequency of such fires is climbing and urged people to keep batteries away from heat, avoid overcharging, and follow manufacturer guidelines. Tobias Kwan, GMNA News, Toronto. Toronto teens are increasingly texting the 24-hour Kids Help Phone helpline during overnight hours, seeking mental health support as demand surges across the city. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Teenagers across the city are turning to a 24-hour mental health helpline for text-based support during the night. Kids Help Phone reports that the volume of overnight text messages from Toronto youth has risen sharply in recent weeks, prompting the organization to expand its staffing for those hours. The service, which operates around the clock, offers confidential counseling via text, allowing teens to reach out without speaking aloud. Counselors on the line say they are seeing more requests for help with anxiety, depression, and stress as students juggle school and family pressures. The organization says the surge reflects a growing comfort with digital communication among young people seeking immediate assistance. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Now let's check in with our meteorologist for your afternoon outlook across the region.
A southerly ridge and a swift southwest to keep Toronto dry and warm under a high-pressure bulge. On this date, the all-time high reached 32.3 Celsius in 2018, a spike that rode the tail end of a late summer heat wave. The record low of 12.1 Celsius fell in 2004, when an unseasonal cold front pushed Arctic air deep into the Great Lakes region. Normal highs for early August hover around 27 Celsius, with lows near 18. Today's temperature sits well above the climatological average, reflecting the lingering influence of the ridge that set those extremes. The live radar screen is blank across southern Ontario, confirming a completely dry atmosphere. A steady high-pressure dome aloft is suppressing lift, while the southwest jet streams sit well above the rain-bearing bands that usually track the Great Lakes. With no echoes on the map, we can expect the clear sky to persist through the afternoon, and the next moisture will not arrive until the system shift later in the week. Turning now to today's outlook. At noon, the station reports 23 Celsius, feeling like 25 with a clear sky and humidity 83%. A light breeze from the south at 8 km per hour keeps the air gently mixed. Pressure is near average and beginning to rise, signaling drier, more stable conditions ahead. Overhead, the jet stream races at 102 km per hour from the southwest, acting like a conveyor belt that steers any incoming disturbances far to the west. The day will climb toward a high of 29 Celsius before slipping to a low of 18 after sunset at 8:34 p.m. UV index stands at 7, and the maximum wind remains 15 km per hour from the southwest, well below the threshold for gust concerns. No weather alerts are active. With the atmosphere locked in this quiet pattern, we now shift to the 5-day outlook. Friday brings a cooler high of 24 Celsius and a low of 21, but a deepening low-pressure system will unleash heavy rain with a 26% chance, a sharp contrast to today's dryness. Saturday spikes back to a high of 31 Celsius and a low of 21, yet lingering moisture yields a drizzle and a 38% probability of rain. Sunday eases to a high of 28 and a low of 19, remaining overcast with a 21% rain chance. Monday's high of 29 and low of 21 comes with heavy drizzle and a 60% likelihood, marking the start of a persistent wet spell. Tuesday continues the trend with a high of 30 Celsius, low of 19, overcast skies and a 60% rain probability, extending the rainy pattern into the middle of next week. The sequence showcases a rapid swing from today's clear warmth to a week of substantial precipitation and modest temperature fluctuations. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic sees lane reductions, the Argonauts are back home after 7 road games, and Hogtown Smokes court battle heats up. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
The biggest impact this morning is a partial shutdown on the subway's Line 1 between Lawrence and St. Clair, a result of the Eglinton Crosstown construction. Riders will need to transfer at Lawrence or St. Clair and use the parallel bus routes to bridge the gap. On the road network, westbound Lake Shore Boulevard East is down to a single lane between Parliament and Lower Sherbourne for a gas main install, creating a slow-moving queue. Bayview Avenue is closed to vehicle traffic from Rosedale Valley Road to Lauren Harris Square, and River Street between Bayview and Spruce is also blocked. High Park's internal roads remain closed for the weekend, so park goers should use the surrounding streets. Aside from these work zones, traffic is moving smoothly on the Gardiner, the Don Valley Parkway, and Queen West. Expect the afternoon to stay steady, with the same construction-related bottlenecks persisting until the scheduled finish dates.
First up, the Toronto Argonauts face the Calgary Stampeders at BMO Field tonight, a rivalry that decides a playoff berth. So grab a ticket or tune in for the hard-hitting drama that defines Canadian football and feel the city's pulse. Then the Brampton Honey Badgers clash in the Eastern Conference semi-finals at the CAA Centre, delivering the fast-break intensity and clutch moments every basketball fan lives for, with future NBA talent on display. For music lovers, Big Thief arrives at Meridian Hall on the Somersault Slide 360 tour, offering the haunting lyrics and soaring guitars that have made them a summer season staple, and a rare intimate set for Toronto audiences. Looking ahead, Jerkfest returns to Centennial Park this weekend for its 25th anniversary, a vibrant celebration of Caribbean food, rhythm and dance that turns the park into a street festival playground, with sizzling grills, steel drum bands, and family-friendly vibes. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Kickoff time, Toronto sports heat up with homecoming thrills and playoff pushes. After 7 straight road trips, the Argonauts finally return to BMO Field Thursday night, hoping the home crowd ignites a late-season surge. Breaking the grind will test the defense and give the offense a chance to build momentum toward a playoff push. Toronto edged Houston 5-4. A clutch win that narrows the third wildcard gap to 3 games and lifts the club still 7 games under .500. The tight pitching duel shows the rotation can deliver under pressure, but the Jays must sustain this edge to stay in contention. After the 5-4 victory, manager John Schneider fielded questions on Jameson Taylor's debut, praising his poise and early strikeout streak. He highlighted reliever Matt Waldron's addition as a bullpen boost, while confirming Trey Yesevich's injury will sideline him, forcing lineup adjustments.
Hogtown Smoke on Colborne Street in St. Lawrence, Toronto, earned a reputation for wood-smoked ribs and a vibe that drew office workers, construction crews, and families. Owner Glenn Timchuk opened the spot in 2017, creating a community table in city's core. In 2019, roadwork shut the street, slashing foot traffic and forcing a closure. When the lease ended, doors stayed shut, and Timchuk now faces a tax bill he says was inflated by the Canada Revenue Agency, prompting a court fight. The loss leaves the block quieter and fewer late-night options for locals, showing how small eateries keep Toronto's pulse alive. That's why places like Hogtown matter. They turn a corner into a kitchen serving the city's story. Stay tuned for the adorable arrival of a female pygmy hippo calf at the zoo, plus a landmark climate case decision. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. After a 2-year pause, the beloved taste of the Danforth Street Festival rolls back onto Danforth Avenue this weekend, promising fresh Greek flavors, live music, and family fun in Toronto's vibrant Greek town for locals on the bustling streets. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on Danforth Avenue where the scent of fresh souvlaki mingles with roasted coffee, and the street is already humming with anticipation. Red and white banners ripple above the sidewalk cafes, and vendors are unpacking sizzling grills, towering baklava trays, and colorful spice jars. Children chase each other between rows of handmade jewelry stalls while a brass band tunes up, its notes spilling onto the cobblestones. Neighbors greet one another with familiar nods, sharing stories of the 2-year pause that kept this summer tradition on hold. The taste of the Danforth returns this weekend, promising a feast of Greek classics, live music, and dance that pulls the whole community together. For families who missed the last 2 summers, this weekend feels like a homecoming of flavor and community. I can hear laughter rising as the first plates are served, and the crowd's excitement builds with each passing minute. Carl Dumont virtually at Danforth Avenue.
Welcome back. A 20-year-old female pygmy hippo at the Toronto Zoo gave birth to a healthy calf yesterday, marking another milestone in the zoo's ongoing pygmy hippo breeding program. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
At the Toronto Zoo, a newborn female pygmy hippo arrived today, the first calf from a mother now 20 years old. Keepers moved the tiny calf into the exhibit within hours, checking its breathing and bright eyes. The seasoned mother settled close, nudging her baby as veterinarians confirmed the calf is healthy and will join the herd once it gains strength. Visitors gathered at the viewing area, cheering as staff lifted the infant for a quick photograph. The zoo will feature the new arrival in upcoming educational talks, emphasizing the species, unique traits, and its conservation status. The birth adds to the zoo's ongoing pygmy hippo breeding program, which has successfully raised several generations over the past decade. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Ontario's top court has refused to revisit its earlier decision on the youth climate lawsuit, sending the case back to a lower court as activists continue to challenge the province's climate action plan. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Standing outside the Ontario Court of Appeal, I hear that the bench has refused to revisit a landmark climate case brought by a group of youth activists. The court ordered the matter to be sent back to a lower court for further proceedings, keeping the earlier decision intact. The activists originally sued the provincial government over its climate action plan, arguing it fell short of legal requirements. After months of hearings, the province's highest court concluded on August 5, 2026, that the case would not be reopened. Lawyers for both sides indicated the next steps will now unfold in the trial court, where the original claims will be examined again. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
I'm Jordan Parker. Thank you, Toronto, for joining us on the lunch break. Today's conversation around the rising lithium-ion battery fires reminded us how quickly technology can impact safety. We appreciate your trust in our coverage, and we'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to our city. See you then.